Hi everyone. Today I'm going to be speaking about the Leaving Cert senior cycle and some things that you should be. Hi everyone. Today I'm going to be speaking about the Leaving Cert and beyond. So information for parents and guardians over the next academic year. So this is the agenda. We're going to talk about the role of parents, student options after they leave school, the CAO system, so general information before applying, how the application process works, and key dates in relation to this. I'll also touch on the Susie grant here, there, as well as PLC info and useful websites that you should make a note of. So parents play a key role in the student's decision-making process. First of all, when it comes to the CAO. If a student is applying for third level colleges and universities, they will need to decide the order of courses. There is one level 8 list and one level 6 or 7 list. For both of these lists, they can make up to 10 choices in order of preference. It's in order of preference, so it's really important that students put the courses that they're most interested in first, with number 1, 2, and 3 being their dream course choices. Parents during this stage can provide guidance for their children or child in terms of filling in the CAO form and helping with their choices. It's also important to be aware of the key dates for the upcoming year, and then here are their applications if applicable. In terms of the student options, students these days have many options, which is fantastic. You have the traditional third level route, which is, of course, through the CAO. This is for third level universities and colleges, technological universities. You've also got FETAC, which is the PLC courses, which I'll touch on later. You've got apprenticeships, employment, gap year, world of work, and many other opportunities, including possibly studying abroad through the UCAS system, if studying in the UK and Northern Ireland, or possibly in Europe. And I'll touch base with both of these as well. What are the commonly asked questions then? What is the main difference between the CAO courses and a PLC? So essentially, CAO courses are generally a higher qualification course. You apply through the CAO system and it's points based. When the courses are being allocated to students, they look at do the students meet the points requirement? Do they meet the basic matriculation requirements for that university or college? And do they meet the subject requirements? Certain courses require students to sit certain subjects, and within that, they may also require students to sit certain subjects at a certain level, like higher level, and to achieve a certain grade within that subject. Common ones include primary school teaching, which is a H4, higher level H4 in Irish. Some engineering courses require higher level maths. Some medicine and science courses, of course, require a lab science or multiple. So each course has their own specific requirements, and students must meet each of the three requirements, as in the points requirements, the subject requirements, and then the basic matriculation requirements. And each college has their own. Traditionally, this would be the likes of achieving an O6 or a H6 or a H7 within 5 or so subjects. Some colleges also require students to get a certain grade within English, Irish, and Maths. Of course, if a student is Irish exempt and has an Irish exemption, then there is an application that they need to send away, which I'll touch on later. PLCs then. These are generally 1 or 2 year courses. You apply to the course provider directly, interview based, but may have additional requirements, such as subject specific requirements. So essentially, PLC, for example, through the Bray Institute of Further Education, students would apply directly through that website for the course that they're interested in. So it's not through the CAO, it's through the course provider, be it Biffy, Dún Laoghaire, wherever it may be. You apply directly to the course. And these open from January onwards, which means student could have a place before they even sit the Leaving Cert. The fee is typically around €50 deposit, but the fantastic thing about PLCs now is that they are entirely free. Previously, students would have had to pay a fee, but the PLCs themselves are now free in the last couple of years. So the only money that they have to pay is the deposit to secure their place. The CAO system then. This stands for the Central Applications Office. It deals with applications to undergraduate courses in higher education institutions, known as HEIs. Also deals with offers and acceptances, does not make decisions on places, and there is a parent section on the CAO website, which I'm going to show you there in 1 second. So if you go to the website there, and you go to the home page, scroll down to parents and guardians. And this is the section for parents. The CAO, a guide for parents and guardians. There are video guides, a points calculator for the Leaving Cert subjects, common point scale, and also a demo for the application. The application itself will open in early November. But if you want to get ahead of the curve and see what the application would look like, this gives you a chance. This goes through the CAO process, focusing on your role as a parent or guardian and what you can do during this process, as well as deadlines and general information on how to complete the application form. I would strongly recommend that all parents and guardians have a look at this and have a look at the CAO website for more information. There are lots of choices available for students. There are nearly 3,000 third level courses for just the level 8 courses, level 6 and level 7 courses. 45 third level institutions, 3 types of courses on the NFQ, level 6, level 7, and level 8. And the CAO deals with all 3. As I said before, there are 2 lists. There's one level 8 list, one level 6/7 list, and you can put down, or your child could put down, 10 choices for the level 6 or 7 list and 10 choices for the level 8 list in order of preference, with number 1 being the course that they're most interested in, 2 being the second most, and so on. So what is the NFQ? This is the National Framework of Qualifications. So essentially, it's the degree that the students will come out of the course with, be it a level 8, an honours bachelor degree or higher diploma, a level 6, an advanced certificate or higher certificate, or a level 7, an ordinary bachelor degree. An example of a difference between the two: ordinary bachelor degree is typically a 3-year course, an honours bachelor degree is typically a 4-year course. There's many routes for progression, from a level 6 to a level 7 or a level 7 to a level 8, such as an add-on year, which transforms their degree from a level 7 to a level 8. They could then go on to do a master's degree or a postgraduate diploma, or possibly even a PhD. There are also level 5 certificates. This would be typically a 1-year PLC course. The level 6 certificates are typically a 2-year PLC course. As I said before, there are 2 course choice lists. There is a level 8 list and a level 6 or 7 list. 10 selections can be made in each list. Choices are made using a code. So arts in NUI Maynooth, for example, is MH101. You can find these codes through the Careers Portal website. If you click on Courses and search, the code will be beside the name of the course. Level 8 choices do not affect the Level 6 or 7 choices. It is possible to receive an offer on both lists. However, you can only accept one offer. So if you accept your number 1 choice from the Level 8 list, that means you are declining your number 1 choice from the Level 6 or 7 list. This is an example of the physical version of what it would look like. You've got your level 8 list in order of preference, course codes. Level 7, level 6 list in order of preference, course code. You can fill up both of these lists from 1 to 10. As I said before, the CAO website is an invaluable tool, and the application demo is one that I would definitely recommend all parents and guardians to check out with their child, as well as the handbook, which has recently been added to the website for this year, as well as the core level 8 list, level 6, 7 list, and their relevant codes. Some courses are new for 2025, 2026, so I would recommend that all students and, of course, the parents and guardians have a look at the CAO handbook. Place your course choices in genuine order of preference. Now, this is really important, and this is how your child should structure their list. 1 to 4, thereabouts, being their dream courses. From around 3 to 7, 3 to 8 being the realistic courses. And then the banker safety net being around 7, 8 to 10. It's in order of preference, so they need to make sure that their number 1 course choice is the one that they are most interested in, their dream course. Number 2 being their second dream course, and number 3 being their third dream course. A good way of looking at this would be the dream courses are plan A, the realistic courses are plan B, the banker safety net is their plan C, if they are applying through the CAO. The realistic courses are ones that they believe they can get the points in, as well as the other requirements such as subject-specific requirements. These are realistic ones. These are ones that they definitely believe they could achieve, that they could get. So for example, if your child has been getting around 350 points during their time in Leaving Cert throughout 5th year, the realistic courses would be around 300 to 350, thereabouts. They'd be looking at courses from previous years that were around those points-wise, as well as courses where looking at the subject-specific requirements, they are realistic. Their dream courses, they shouldn't be basing it off of points. They should be basing it off of genuine interest. And in their banker safety net, these are courses that they absolutely can achieve. These are courses that they, for example, a course that if they're getting around 350 points, these courses might be around 280, 290, 300. They're ones that they absolutely can achieve. So they're plan A, plan B, plan C. So these are ones, the banker safety net, even if something went wrong on the day, these are still possible options for them. Realistic courses are ones that they definitely believe they can achieve, and dream courses are their genuine interests, the ones that they feel the strongest for, the ones that they're the most passionate for. So genuine order of preference. The reason I mention this is because they'll be offered the first course that they meet all requirements. They meet the points requirements, they meet the matriculation requirements, they meet the subject-specific requirements. So they may not be offered their first choice. They may not be offered their second choice. In fact, they may not be offered down to their 5th choice. They could be offered their 6th choice. Let's say in this example, they are offered their 6th choice. This means 7 to 10 are deleted. They're gone. They cannot receive an offer in 7, 8, 9, or 10. They are deleted. In round 1, in this example, when they are offered their 6th choice, they can choose to take that course. And it would be strongly recommended that at that stage, they do choose to take that course. However, round 2, 3, 4, and 5 could follow, or will follow until all courses are filled. This means in round 2, 3, 4, 5, they could still be offered a place on one of these courses here, 1 to 5. It's possible that they could be offered a place on one of these. So let's take an example. They're offered number 2. That means 3 to 5 are now gone. 3 to 5 are removed. 6 is still there because they took that place in the first round. They could then choose to take their second option here, the course that they were offered in round 2, which is number 2 on their list. So although students may not be offered their dream course in the first round, it could still happen in round 2, 3, 4, or possibly even 5. The reasoning for this is because the students who were offered those places, may have decided not to take the course. They may have turned down the offer. They may have deferred, which means they have accepted their place on the course, but for the following year. So not in September of that year, September 2026, but instead September 2027. That means a free place has become available, and that means that your child could be offered that place. So the CAO checks the minimum entry requirements. They calculate the points from your best 6 subjects. So typically students would sit 7 subjects at the Leaving Cert. In some cases, it could be 8 if they're taking a subject outside of school. It calculates their best 6 and it adds up the points from that. The total that they can get in their Leaving Cert, if they are taking all higher level, including higher level maths, is 625 points, with 25 extra points going for higher level maths. This is the total that they can get in the Leaving Cert. So essentially, it calculates their best 6 subjects. They receive an offer if they meet the entry requirements and the points requirements. Places are allocated and offered by post and online through the CAO system, through their website. Students may accept, reject, or defer offer places. It is highly recommended that you accept what you get offered in round 1 because you may not be offered it in further rounds. Further rounds offers are made until all courses are filled. Entry to college courses is points-based. Like I said before, a student's best 6 subjects are used to calculate their Leaving Cert points. An example of this would be accounting and finance from DCU. In previous years, as you can see in 2012, it was 450, 2013, it was 460, 2014, it was 475, and so on. Use the course finder tool. Again, just to show you where that is. So if you go to careersportal.ie, on the home page, you will have the option of seeing the course finder tool. Just give me 1 second there. Here, so this is the home page of Careers Portal. Just before I show you that, this is another area I would highly recommend that you have a look at, the parent section of the Careers Portal website. It can really help with this process and show you how you can provide support for your child during this stage. It goes through the likes of here and there, options available after school, differing abilities, what to do with Leaving Cert results, and so on. I would really recommend that you have a look at that part of the website. Another one there, the events calculator, is really important for the likes of career exhibitions, career fairs, as well as open days. Some open days are during the week, but the majority of open days are on a Saturday. So it is important to be aware of these dates and, if possible, to attend with your child during some of these dates. It would be recommended that students attend open days throughout the year to get a feel of the college and the campus itself, the facilities, and what their life on campus will be like. Courses then, as well as careers, apprenticeships, jobs, and career sectors. Again, Careers Portal is an invaluable website with fantastic tools to use in relation to careers and options after school. As you can see here, once you click search, every single course that is available throughout the country will pop up on the screen. Now, of course, you can filter this down. As there are over 8,000 courses, you can filter it by career sector, course type, including PLC, further education, CEO, higher education, tertiary courses, which are essentially a new form of PLC courses. But the students can graduate with a level 8 course degree. Tertiary courses are slightly different from the regular PLCs in the sense that they complete a year at a PLC institute, for example, Bray Institute of Further Education. After they've completed that year, they then go straight into the linked college or university without needing to apply through the CAO at all. You've also got postgrad, Northern Ireland, and so on. You can filter it by points. You can look for new courses, courses that don't require maths, courses that accept ordinary maths, courses that require a lab science, courses that don't require lab science, and so on. There are many different areas that you can filter it, and you can also filter it by county, college, region, and so on. So it's very much an invaluable tool for students. Students have been looking at this in guidance and will continue to do so. If you click into the course itself, you can find out more information about it, including the entry requirements. As an example, I'm going to filter it down just a little bit there. I'm going to look for courses that accept ordinary maths. I am going to focus on CAO courses. And then I'm going to search by course level. I'm going to look at level 8. So looking at this here, looking at this one here, accounting. So this is in Cork. It's a level 8. That's what they'll graduate at, a level 8 on the NFQ. It's 3 years. And last year, as in the year just gone, it was 510 points, which is up 12 points from the previous year. So if you see this green symbol with an arrow, that means this course has gone up that number of points. If you see a course with a red arrow, like this one, and a minus number, that means this course has gone down 17 points from the previous year. There are also QQI links, so it shows how you could advance from a level 5 or a level 6 qualification, i.e. a PLC course. Any of them that have this link symbol means that there are opportunities to advance from a PLC course into this course. So clicking into this one here as an example, this one in Cork. If you scroll down, of course, you can see it on the college website, view the prospectus and so on. You can also find more information about the college itself, photos, and a video there as well to go alongside it. For some of them, it provides more information. Some of the courses that are a little bit older, like this one, Accounting and Finance in Dundalk. You can look at the entry requirements here. So, points requirements, last year was 210. Minimum matriculation requirements, 2 H5 and 4 O6 or H7. And then you would need to get an O6 or H7 in English or Irish, or an O6 or H7 in maths. Each of these courses has their own entry requirements. I would highly recommend that you look at those. You can also see PLC progression links, how you can progress from a PLC into this course. So, as I was saying, really, really helpful tool. And the Careers Portal website in general is a fantastic tool for this. Students will be doing a lot of research over the coming months, and this will be a beneficial tool for them to use. Change of mind then. Change of mind opens later in the year. The CAO itself will open in November, early November. Students can then start their application from then. The Change of Mind facility opens later in the year, and it can be done for free online when it opens in early May. Students have up until the 1st of July 2026 to essentially change their mind and add or amend course choices. And there's no limit on changes. It does open earlier than this as well, but at that stage, students have to pay a fee to change the courses, whereas from early May, it's for free. So there's no limit on changes. Again, this is the point system, a H1 being 100 points, then 88, 77, 66, and so on. And O1 being 56 points, then 46, 37, 28, and so on. Again, it's worth noting that there are 25 additional bonus points going for a H6 or above on higher level maths. The process begins now. Already, students are researching their choices. If students are applying abroad, they've already begun that process as well. They need to research thoroughly. They need to look at course requirements, course contents, duration, qualification or learning outcomes, progression, the college itself, its location, its size, extracurricular, and of course it goes without saying, but if needed, accommodation. It's really important that students begin this process, the accommodation process, as early as possible. For some colleges, campus accommodation can open months in advance. For some, it can be much later. So if your child is interested in looking for campus accommodation and they're very focused on a specific college, it's really important that they start looking into that as soon as possible so they're aware of when that process can begin. How can they research? They can speak to myself, of course, and we have guidance classes once a week where they are focusing on that. There are college websites and prospectuses. There is the CAO website. There is the Careers Portal website. Qualifax, they can visit open days that run throughout the year. Many colleges and universities have 2 open days throughout the year, one typically around October and November, and then once again in spring. Some of the departments within the colleges themselves also offer webinars for that specific department, be it engineering, architecture, medicine, veterinary, wherever it may be. They can contact colleges and, of course, talk to you, talk to our parents and guardians, as well as current students. In relation to this, in relation to the open days, they can again go to the website for this, which is Careers Portal. If they click on the Careers Portal and they go to the calendar, they can look at upcoming open days as well as upcoming career exhibitions and career fairs. One that we'll be attending this week, for example, being the Higher Options on the 19th of September, which includes colleges and universities, as well as industries, PLCs, apprenticeships from around the country. How to apply? Of course, you can apply through the CAO by post, but the majority nowadays it's online. You can only make one application and you must apply before the 1st of February 2026. Now, there are courses that are restricted, courses that have an asterisk beside them on the course finder tool. It's really important that students are aware of the key dates for those courses, and they all have their own specific key dates. For example, medicine, of course, there's the HPAT test. NCAD requires a portfolio for certain courses. The likes of film, media, art, multimedia, and so on require portfolios. Some courses require auditions, some courses require interviews. It's really important that students are aware of what the requirements are for these restricted courses and the key dates to ensure that they get them completed. Anything that needs to be done during that time, be it an interview, audition, a test, whatever it may be. There is the late application for the CAO, but it would be recommended that all students apply to the CAO before the 1st of February. The final application is by the 1st of July, and of course, applicants are encouraged to apply online. In terms of this process, in November, once it opens, you log on to www.cao.ie. They create their account, they click apply. They log in and they enter their details. This is through my application. It's really important when you are sending certificates, when you are sending documents, wherever it may be, that you keep proof of postage. Keep a proof of postage. Really important, especially for the likes of here or there, which I'll touch base with in a moment. It's really important that you keep a proof of postage and also that the students write their number, their application number, on the top of each document. It's also really important that the documents that are sent away are copies of the original documents, not the original documents themselves. Keep a record of login details. Here. Speaking of, here stands for the Higher Education Access Route, for third level admission scheme, for school leavers from lower socioeconomic backgrounds. Each college has a quota of places on a reduced points basis for here students. Again, you can find out information on this from the CAO and Access College, which I'll show you in one moment. You must have an active email address to apply, and you will have to send on documentary proof of entitlement. Again, the HERE application is true the CAO application. So if a student is applying for HERE, they need to indicate this on their CAO form before the 1st of February. They need to have completed the online part of HERE, their application through the CAO application by the 1st of March. And they need to have ensured they have sent all photocopied required documentation by the 15th of March, but ideally earlier. So for HERE, to find out if you are eligible for HERE, as you can see there, you go to this website here, accesscollege.ie. Once you get to the homepage, there'll be one section for HERE, one section for DARE, which I'll touch on in one moment. To find out if you are eligible for HERE or for both, click on it there, and then click on eligibility criteria. There is a video which explains it, specifically for parents, how to apply to the HERE scheme. But essentially, your child must meet certain criteria. They must meet criteria 1 and 2, plus 1 of 4, 5, and 6, or 6, 1 and 3, plus 1 of 4, 5, or 6, 1 and 4, plus 1 of 5 or 6, or criteria 1, 5, and 6. They all must meet 1, which is the income limit, as you can see there. The income limit for their household. Then they must meet a mix of 2 to 5 or 2 to 6. As I said, it must be a combination of one of these 4. If your household does meet one of these 4 categories, it's really important that they do apply for HERE. HERE has many benefits, including reduced points. Students could get upwards or around possibly 50 points reduced, which essentially means that they can get into a course with reduced points. Now, of course, they are competing with other HERE applicants. That is important to be aware of. So even if they are successful for HERE, it does not necessarily mean that they will meet the reduced points. As you can see there, these are the indicator combinations. So that is HERE. Going back to DARE then, and you can also see how to apply an evidence of my disability and what evidence do you need to provide. So DARE is a little bit different in that you need to provide evidence of the disability or disabilities. One second there. And this also includes documentation. Again, each additional need or disability has specific documentation required that needs to be completed by a specific type of person. Again, all of this can be found on the Access College website, and I will be speaking to students who are applying for HERE and also students who are applying for DARE and going through this process with them. There is a HERE handbook and there is a DARE handbook, and both of these can be found on the Access College website. I would strongly recommend any parents or guardians of students who are applying for either of these, be it HERE or DARE, to read through the respective handbook. If a student can qualify for DARE and HERE, it's highly recommended that they do so. as that increases their chances of getting into their course with reduced points. There are other bonuses too, beyond just the reduced points, including support within college itself, such as a tutor, a tour of the college, and many, many other supports. So DARE stands for the Disability Access Route to Education. It's a supplementary admission scheme for school leavers with disabilities or specific learning difficulties. And like I said, it can mean reduced points. For those with academic ability, but who may not be able to meet points due to the impact of a disability. You will require proof of disability, including the consultant's report and also a school reference. There is an online part to the DARE application as well. DARE, like here, is through the CAO application. You need to indicate that you are applying. So click yes by the 1st of February. By the 1st of March, the online part of DARE needs to be completed. And then by the 15th of March, all required documentation needs to have been sent away to the address, which is in Galway. The address you can find on the application form. That is the same dates for the here. These are some of the DARE considerations, such as ADD, ADHD, autism spectrum disorder, vision impairment, hard of hearing, mental health condition, neurological condition, and so on. This is not a conclusive list. Here are DARE key dates. Here, DARE do run a nationwide application advice clinics, and these start around January. And then for locations and times, visit accesscollege.ie or their Facebook page. Important information. If a student has exemption from Irish and or a third language, such as your French or your Spanish, they must complete an NUI exemption form to ensure they meet the entry requirements of UCD, UCC, NUI Maynooth and Galway, and any other NUI colleges. Again, this can be found if you type in NUI exemption form. But I will be touching base with those students who are exempt from Irish, as in some cases they may need a school form as well to go alongside this. And visit accesscollege.ie for further information. This will be completed over the coming months. And it is required to avoid the Irish component of entering into these colleges. Irish is required. This essentially removes that requirement for exempt students. So therefore, the Irish requirement is no longer an issue for them. SUSI then, the student grant. SUSI opens in April, so April of 2026. It's the Student Universal Support Ireland. It's through the SUSI website. It's not through the CAO, unlike here or there. SUSI is Ireland's national awarding authority for all higher and further education grants. SUSI offers funding to eligible students in approved full-time third-level education in Ireland, and also, in some cases, funding for students studying outside the state. So on their website, on SUSI's website, to see if your child may be eligible, of course, here you can see how to apply. Start the application once it opens in April, early April. But there is the eligibility indicator, which is a quiz that you can do with your child. If you click start and so on, it will go through questions relevant to the application. As you go through each one, at the end of it, it will specify if you are eligible for any part of the SUSI grant. Because although students may be eligible for the full SUSI grant, some students may be eligible for part of it. SUSI grant isn't as stringent as the here, as an example. So students may be able to avail of some of the SUSI grant, if not the full amount. Again, that opens in early April 2026. It's really important that students who are eligible do apply. PLC courses, the PLC route. Looking away from the CAO, PLC courses are a flexible option, especially for students who are interested more in the world of work than just academics. It prepares students for the world of work. It can be a stepping stone to transfer to third level. Students can use their PLC course as an alternative route into a level 8 course or a level 7 course by applying through the CAO the following year, or if it's a 2-year PLC course, the year after that, and competing with other PLC students rather than leaving cert students. When they are competing for a place on that course, each course has a PLC quota, which means they have to accept a certain number of PLC students onto that course. So when they are assessing which students that they're allowing in, they're looking at how the students performed over that year or 2 years of the PLC course. And then the students who perform the best would be the ones who have first priority. So it's really important that if a student or if your child is doing a PLC course and they do plan to transfer to third level after the year or after the 2 years, that they are trying their very best during that time to ensure they meet their full potential. For more information, you can go to plccourses.ie, or you can look at the institutes themselves. For example, the Bray Institute of Further Education has their own website, and once the course is open in January onwards, students apply for that course through the website. You apply directly to the college itself. They are generally interview-based, but they may have additional requirements and they may have specific subject requirements. So it is important that students research those. Interviews can begin as early as February. You can still apply in summer of 2026. So students can still apply for these courses, for the PLC courses, even in the summer. You can have late applications after leaving cert results as well in August. Some places would still be available. These are some of the PLC colleges in Dublin that students may be interested in. But there are PLC colleges throughout the country, including in Wicklow, as I mentioned, the Bray Institute of Further Education. HEIs also reserve places for FETAC students. DIT, for example, was previously 330 places on 65 courses. As I mentioned, each course specifies a specific quota of PLC students or FETAC students. So science, for example, pre-university science in Colashtadula gain an overall merit of 65%. Places reserved on the following, as an example. DCU, Bachelor of Science in Analytical Science, or a Bachelor of Science in Biotechnology, or in Common Entry into Science. So a student could progress from this PLC course into one of these or into one of these after they have gained at least a merit, which is 65% and upwards. There are places reserved on these courses. So after they have done the year or the 2 years of the PLC course, they apply as a PLC student through the CAO system, and they apply for these courses, whatever course they may be interested in. Again, they're then competing against PLC students, not leaving cert students. So PLCs are ideal for a student who does a lot of ordinary level subjects. They can be a backdoor for any student into their careers, essentially a plan B. And begin to research the colleges and courses now by visiting their website, email them for a prospectus, or go to their open day. Again, PLCs can also have open days, not just colleges and universities. All institutions around the country have their own open days, and many of them have multiple throughout the year. And you apply directly to the college. So, to summarize, begin the research now. The CAO opens the first week in November. You can then register and begin the process. Rank in order of preference. Try to include a range of points. Like I said, the first few courses being the dream courses, the second few being realistic, and then the final few being a banker safety net. Check if you're eligible, if your child is eligible for here or there. If they are, they should absolutely apply for them through the CAO once it opens in November. You can start the CAO application and the Here and There application from November, early November. Be aware of closing dates and deadlines. So to ensure that your CAO application is not a late application, ensure that you have applied before the 1st of February and then before the 20th of January for the reduced online fee. If you're applying for Here or There, you need to have indicated yes on your CAO application before the 1st of February. If you are a late applicant for the CAO, you are no longer eligible for Here or There. So you need to start the application as early as possible, ideally in November. The Here and There deadlines then, the 1st of March for the online component, the 15th of March for any required documentation. Again, photocopies of the documentation, keep a proof of postage stamp, make sure that the student's application number is on the top of each page that is being sent away. And again, the address is in Galway, which again, you can see this address on the application. It will mention the address and what documentation is required. For those who are applying for DARE, you will also need information from the school, and I'll be working with those students to provide that. Attend college open days, which run throughout the year. Many of them are on Saturdays, but some of them are during the week. PLCs apply directly to the college from January onwards. The interviews typically taking place in February. These are some of the important dates to be aware of. Apprenticeships. If a student is applying for apprenticeship, they should be looking for those now. They will need someone who will take them on for the duration of the apprenticeship. In terms of the apprenticeship there's a key website that students should be aware of, which is Generation Apprenticeship. This essentially goes through the process, but the main thing, I suppose, just to make you aware of, if you look for find apprenticeship jobs, people who are looking for apprentices will advertise this on the website. There is also, of course, the job websites like Indeed and Jobs.ie. This would be a good starting point. It's highly recommended that, if possible, students use connections, family connections, relative connections, friends of the family, wherever it may be, when searching for apprenticeships. So browse through the apprenticeship directory, and then you can find out more information about it as well. Again, this process should start now as soon as possible, because although apprenticeships are very in demand, that does mean that it can be more difficult to find an employer willing to take your child on. So it's really important for apprenticeships that the process starts now. Useful websites, of course, the CAO, Access College, PLC Courses, Suzy, Careers Portal, Qualifax, the one I just mentioned, apprenticeship.ie, Unicas, UCAS, iCares, Study EU, and Education Europa. These are websites that are useful for any students who are interested in studying abroad. Unicas is for Europe, UCAS is for the UK, iCares, Study EU, and the last one there, Europa, these are all for the EU. So again, just to show you that one there, Study EU, that's this one there. You can search programs throughout Europe. There is also Unicast. Now, this is one that requires a subscription. But what's great about this one, if you do go with the subscription there, I will show you what this looks like. Once you go into programs, you can search by programs, of course. You can also search by universities. But as an example, if you click into it there, it will mention the awards, the duration, tuition fees. Some of these courses, of course, don't require tuition fees, but they will also specify entry requirements, as you can see there for Ireland. Each country is different. Each college, university is different. So for students who are interested in applying for college, university abroad, It's really important that this process starts now. And again, like I said, Unicast is a great website to use, although it does require a subscription, which is a monthly fee or a yearly fee. But then iCares.com and Study EU and Study Europa, not all of those require a fee, and they are great tools to use for students who are interested in studying abroad. You can search from thousands of different programs throughout the EU. Like I said, the likes of Susie can also, and scholarships, of course, as well, can also apply for some of these programs. So it's important to avail of those if eligible. So thank you for listening. If anybody does have any questions in the meantime, my email is below. If it's a pressing concern, of course, you can schedule a meeting with myself and we can go over any issues. And in the meantime, thank you so much for listening. And if you do have any questions, do make sure to email me there or contact the school, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible.